You know those videos that start off with a question like, do you know? And it takes them a minute just to get to the point, and sometimes they never get to the point at all? We're gonna fix that today. I'm gonna answer each one of these questions very quickly for you.
In this country, the time is wrong on purpose.
In Malta, some of the churches there have 2 clocks on their facade to confuse the devil, so he won't know when service actually starts.
In this city, nobody locks the doors to their house or car, but the reason why will shock you.
In Churchill, Canada, residents leave their doors to their homes and cars unlocked in case they need to escape from a polar bear.
This 45-year-old billionaire is buying the body of an 18-year-old.
It's his own body, but Brian Johnson spends about $2 million on medical tests to reverse the aging process so he can be 18 years old.
Do you suppress your urge to eat raw chicken due to social stigma?
It's called salmonella, and the after effects hit harder than Taco Bell.
Here's what would happen if the largest asteroid hit Earth.
There would be no more Earth and we'd all be dead.
Here's what your eye color actually says about you according to real science.
His claim is that if you have yellow eyes, you're special. Green eyes make you charismatic and lucky. Blue eyes mean you're smart and beautiful, like me. If you have brown eyes, you're just a common NPC, but there's no actual proof of any of these.
Who invented this shit?
Look at that.
Ear cancer supporters claim that they come from traditional Chinese, Egyptian, or North American medicine, but either way, they're gross. They don't work and will most likely damage your ear.
Has a name.
It's a musical phrase that means shave and a haircut 2-bit. Bro, why do they always gotta talk about hair too much?
Here's why this machine entering your anus could be the future of medicine.
This device can directly 3D print living cells onto internal organs, which can eliminate the actual need of an actual surgery. Would you prefer this method?
And how many Earths can fit inside the sun?
1.3 million Earths.
How do you know if your itchy butt is due to pinworm?
If it's itching, you should definitely get it checked out. But as my fellow doctor pointed out, don't scratch your butt and then bite your nails.
When they unwrapped King Tut's mummy, they found an iron dagger in his tomb.
Egypt didn't have access to iron at that time, so it was a mystery. But it was later discovered that it was made out of meteorite.
Here's what would happen if everyone flushed their toilets at the exact same time.
It's highly likely that wastewater could spill back from your toilet and flood the entire room.
You see that ladder over there? Nobody can move it, because if anybody does, they might start a war.
The Church of the Holy Sepulchre belongs to 6 different Christian groups. If something changes in a building without everyone's approval, could mean war.
Wow, is that how the pyramids really look?
No, they don't.
Why did NASA stop exploring the ocean?
NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration and never actually explored the ocean. But this video claims they discovered stuff like Leviathan class, life forms such as the bloop, and now they're trying to get us to leave the planet.
People around the world study to get a license to prepare this deadly fish.
It's the blowfish, and if it's cooked wrong, it could kill you because of all the toxins that it contains.
You probably never cooked a bat.
And we obviously haven't learned since 2020 that you shouldn't. But apparently they smell like urine when cooking and can also be poisonous.
This is the world's most fertile woman, and you won't believe how many kids she has.
44 kids.
Our bodies love to sit, right?
Nope, our bodies are designed for upright movements. Sitting for extended periods of time can cause chronic problems such as heart disease, diabetes, and even types of cancer.
Can anyone explain how does the mirror know that there's an object there?
Mirrors don't know anything. They just reflect light. So as long as there's a path between the object and our eyes and it hits the mirror with the same angle, we'll see the object.
This is the saw from a sawfish. But what part of the fish is it?
It's a part of their nose used for hunting and detecting prey.
This is perhaps one of the most incredible photos you will ever see.
This photo shows a single atom floating in an electric field. It's large enough and illuminated by a blue-violet laser, which allows us to see anything without any kind of microscope.
Watch this. It's not supposed to melt. How the f is it turning black?
It's the soot from the lighter's fuel, and the combination of the lighter's heat and dry air makes the snow not melt.
Does anyone know how the physics behind this works?
The pressure and momentum of the water entering the opening of the water that was caused by the man falling creates a vertical splash that launches the ball up.
Is it Uranus or Uranus?
Scientists prefer calling it Uranus for obvious reasons, but we all call it.
What would happen if you stopped drinking water?
You would die in about 8 days.
We now actually know what happens when we die.
We die, but according to this guy, we see flashbacks of our entire life after we die. Well, which dead person told him?
What would happen if the moon hit the Earth?
We will all die and will never see those cool rings even form.
This is the shortest woman in the world.
Jayati, 28 years old and 2 feet tall.
Here's the only way to survive when you're stuck in a sinking vehicle.
First, don't drive in water. But if you like having a car boat, roll down a window and get out.
This huge rock in Saudi Arabia is perfectly cut in half, and no one knows why.
No one actually knows, but the claim is that it just happened.
Everyone knows that triangles have 3 sides, but what the shirt in our fall curiosity box presupposes is, what if they don't?
They don't have 4 sides, but that shirt is pretty dang cool.
Why are these folks boring holes across rooftops, then stuffing them with water bottles?
For DIY solar lights, since they don't have electricity.
How many eggs does it take to support my weight?
90 eggs, but at least he didn't waste them. He gave the egg soup to his dog to eat.
The world's most expensive liquid is produced by an animal. But can you guess which one?
Scorpions.
This is how you fix your carpet that never wants to stay flat.
Nope, that's a rug, bro, and yes, it works.
Guess the top 5 most dangerous countries.
Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, Russia, and South Sudan.
This man takes brainless to a whole other level.
A man in France walked into a hospital complaining of a leg problem, but ended up getting his brain drained. Now his brain is 75% water with a small brain, yet he's still smarter than 75% of Twitter users.
A living ancient creature lives among us.
It's a horseshoe crab, which scientists say lived on Earth since 445 million years ago.
We all know Crocs have 2 modes, chillin' mode and sports mode. And I'm always running late, so that got me thinking, can putting my Crocs into sport mode actually give me a speed boost?
No, it's cap, and this video is a crock, but apparently 10 million people don't think so. I agree with the cat. Even our first president, Abraham Lincoln, said you can't believe everything you read on the internet.
Here's the only way to survive a falling elevator.
Lay flat and think about all those things you wish you had done before you died. Nope, that's totally fake, like your parents' marriage.
This is what things actually look like underneath a microscope. First, we have ants. These are just tiny little creatures and no one is really afraid of them. But if you look at one very closely, this is what they look like.
Kinda.
Next, we have a worm. This is what these tiny little creatures look like under a microscope, and it's quite terrifying.
Fake.
This is what the grass looks like under a microscope, and it's just a bunch of little smiley faces.
Kinda true.
Next up, we have maggots. They're kind of gross, but this is what they look like underneath a microscope.
What the heck is a maggot? Anyway, no.
And this is what salt and pepper looks like. For some reason, it looks kind of like rocks and marshmallows.
Yeah, now go make me some s'mores.
You should never swallow your gum, and this is why.
It wasn't from swallowing gum, but apparently it's from poor eating habits.
Have you ever wondered what would happen to animals in a utopia where there are no natural enemies?
A scientist did an experiment with a bunch of rats by putting them in isolation, and they became severely overpopulated. After 2 years, all the rats died. Note to self, do not make a rat isolation pit. Got it.
Did you know the tongue is actually not the strongest muscle in the body?
It's the masseter, which is the muscle in your jaw that gives you the bite force.
I found the tallest man in the world.
Sultan is 2.51 meters tall or 8 foot 2 inches.
Here's what would happen if you were swallowed by a snake. First, it would kill you.
Yep, that's basically it.
Here are 5 reasons why people think the moon landing was faked.
It wasn't fake, but it makes for good shorts and TikToks for people to click.
Here's what would happen if we nuked Mars.
The planet will be worse off. It works because of surface tension.
This is what would happen if every human disappeared.
The Earth would move on like we never existed. R.I.P. us.
All right, let's do this in 3, 2, 1, go for it. Okay. Oh, that's a lot. Whoa! Smoking.
The Coke has phosphoric acid that mixes with chlorine and releases a gas. But you have to shake the bottle better to these guys.
If you ever see a dead whale, run away immediately.
It's because they will blow up due to gas buildup. You wouldn't want to go near them anyway since they smell like your dad's bathroom visit after Taco Bell.
How high is space?
Actual space starts about 62 miles up, which is the Kármán line.